Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Good morning and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Wednesday, April 29th. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. It's been kind of sketchy for me. Some good points, some bad points. But then again, the year 2020, what would we be without some ups and downs so far this year, huh? I just obstacle after obstacle, whether it be training, whether it be the podcast, all this stuff. I don't want to complain, though. I'm trying not to complain this podcast. I'll tell you the story. But I need to file this under I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you the story. I'm not making excuses. I'm dealing. I'll give you an example of how I dealt with dealing with adversity. We'll do a little lesson here on dealing with adversity. So yesterday, I got up, was ready to do the podcast. Had a sitter here for Ellie. Sam doesn't need a sitter anymore. She's old. Felt good. I mean, things are moving on. The sitter hasn't, we haven't been able to kind of have someone here to help us out with Ellie in a while. So it's nice to sort of have that support now again. And it gives me time. It gives me, a way to do the podcast and a little bit more. I can breathe a little easier knowing that I have, allocations of time that I can now fill with productive things. Not that being a parent isn't productive. Started the podcast yesterday. It was about 10 minutes in. I got important phone call from Samantha Watson, which I needed to talk to her about the Ordinary Marathon. Samantha Watson is the CEO of the SamFund, who we do the Ordinary Marathon for, right? That's what we raise money for. Had a great conversation with her about the race. We talked about a half an hour. Started the podcast again. Did about 10 minutes. Ellie came in from outside. She was playing outside and she threw a fit upstairs. She's kicking the ceiling. Well, the floor. For her to kick the ceiling would be difficult. She's only about a foot tall. I'm down in the basement. So she's kicking the ceiling. She's screaming her head off. Impossible to podcast through that. It just, people would call up and report me as a bad parent. So killed the podcast again. Now, as a parent, getting to know your kids over time, you kind of know what sort of makes them tick and what may, I'll give you an example. Well, this is exactly what I mean. Ellie takes a nap daily, every day. Usually it's somewhere between 11:30 and 2 o'clock. Now, a 2.5 hour nap happens once in a blue moon. That's the max nap, though. Max nap is 2.5 hours. Typically, it's about noon to 1:30, right around that area. So I had scheduled a ride on Zwift with Aaron Shepard. We were going to go and do a workout ride. Had it all scheduled, ready to go. And I tell you, after her throwing that tantrum, and she ate a big lunch. She was up running around. She was up early, running around like crazy. I would have put money on the max nap, 2 to 2.5 hours. She went down about 11:45, noon, somewhere around there. Put her down for a nap, and I'm thinking, all right. I got on the bike at 12:20. I'm thinking I got plenty of time here. I'll do the bike. I'll do the podcast. She'll wake up from the nap and then I'll be good to go. Well, about 10 minutes into my ride, this kid just starts screaming her head off. And now I had to cancel my ride and go get her. Now, that's the bad story, right? That's the here was my plan. I had this great plan set. I had training throughout the day. All set. And this is one of the reasons why I'm uncoachable, by the way, is here I am. I'm in the middle of a strategic bike workout that I really felt like I needed. And now it's gone. I had to cancel it 15 minutes in. But you got to make lemons out of lemonade sometimes. So I took this tired baby screaming her head off, threw on a coat, put on some shoes, put her in the running stroller, and we were off. And, it wasn't like the greatest run in the world. It was probably a real crappy run. A mix of running and walking over the course of maybe 4.5 miles. I think I ran almost probably about 2 miles in the beginning, right around there. And then I turned my watch off because I was like, forget it. Pushing the stroller, when I start pushing the running stroller, it's never about time anymore. It's more about just being out there and getting something done. So, all right, I did this run walk for about 4.5 miles. I felt good about it. It gives me something for the day. gives me some training for the day. So in the end, it wasn't what I want, but that's kind of dealing with adversity. That's what I mean. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a screaming baby or a baby that's not acting the way that you expected them to. It could be anything. It could be a work schedule, work meeting that pops up that you weren't expecting, right? I used to have that all the time. I'm ready to go to the gym at work. I'm ready to go, I used to take an hour and go to the gym. Oh, well, 5 minutes before I go to the gym, something happens at work, and now I get dragged into a call, or I get dragged into a meeting, or something, something needs my attention. That I have to prioritize above the workout. That happens. And it's about dealing with the adversity and changing your plans and changing things to still be productive, but deal with the priority. I could have sat on that bike and let that kid scream her head off for an hour. I could have done that. But that would be bad prioritization. And it also would have been CPS coming to my house and having a very unpleasant conversation. You always want to avoid those. Kids well taken care of, guys. I'm joking. But anyway, so yeah, I wound up talking to Samantha Watson yesterday about the Ordinary Marathon. It is so close, guys. And I know Scott Frassard is starting to mail packets. I believe today he's starting to mail out some of the packets. So if you've ordered a race shirt, it's going to be in there. They came out pretty good. The green is a little harsh, guys. Yeah, and the good news is I didn't pick it. You guys picked it. You guys picked the green. I didn't pick it. So I don't want to hear any more about my orange shirt. But I'm so excited about this race, guys. I can't even tell you about it because I'm starting to see like a little bit of a buzz this year, and it doesn't really happen every year. This is our third year, but I'm starting to see a buzz about it on some other pages that I kind of, maybe I'm on, but I don't really participate in that greatly because I'm so busy on our page. But I start to see a little conversation here, a little conversation there, people asking questions. And look, I'm here to answer them. And one of the questions I always see, and we always address it on the show, but I'm going to talk about it again because the race is so close. Well, what is this? Like, what do I do? I don't get it. Like, what is it? A marathon? And look, we talk about it all the time. But I think a lot of times people join a race and they want it to be something specific. They want to be told what to do. They want to be told, all right, do a 5K, do a 10K, do a half marathon, do a full marathon, do a whatever. They want to be told what to do. When we started this group, when we started our discussion group and everyone that's involved with Team Ordinary and Ordinary Marathoner, we wanted this to be really inclusive. And the whole point of ordinary, right? The whole word is that people are where they are in their training cycle. You might have just started. You might be rolling off the couch. Well, guess what? If I tell you to run a marathon, are you going to be able to do that? No. And why should you not be included in an Ordinary Marathon, right? Why should you not be included in that? It's not about that. It's about supporting one another. It's about, being there to give advice when needed, when asked, let's say, not when needed. Some people think that it's needed all the time, their advice. But usually if you're one of those people, just know your advice isn't needed unless it's asked for. But sometimes, all right, you get my picture. We want to be productive. Let's call it politely productive. And wherever you are in that training schedule, we don't want to box you out because you can't run a mile. As a matter of fact, if we want to include you, if that's you, if you're the can't run a mile, but you'd like to, if you're rolling off the couch and you want to get out there and start run walking and doing stuff and getting involved, hey, I think one of the great things about the Ordinary Marathon is that word marathon is in the title. You don't have to do a full marathon, but man, it's 10 days, this event. And if you go out there and if you walk or run 3 miles, 9 of the 10 days, well, you've covered 27 miles. That's 26.2 is a full marathon. That is a pretty cool accomplishment. You don't have to run it all. You can run, you can walk. We have a convenient path near us that's about 3 miles long. It's actually a 5K. It's 3.1 miles. And I always say, look, get out there 9 of 10 days and do the path down and back. And you can walk that path in an hour. If you're doing like 20-minute miles, obviously, you can walk that path in an hour. And an hour a day for 9 out of the next 10 days, or 9, between May 8th and May 17th, you've got yourself a full marathon. And pretty much anyone can do that if you run and walk. If you do a combo run and walk, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying in past years, I've seen people say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take on this challenge and I'm going to make it my goal to finish a full marathon over 10 days. And I think that's such a worthy challenge, and it's doable. For most people, it's doable, even if you walk. And you know what? If you have real trouble and you want to bike it, I'm cool with that too. I'm cool. I mean, we want to include our people just getting off the couch. We want to include our ultra runners, people that could get off the couch tomorrow and run 50 miles, run 100 miles in one day if they really had to. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that we're successful is because we include all those people. And it's not like the ultra runners that we have in the group, they're not like, oh, I'm well beyond your skill level, so therefore I have to just go hang out with the ultra runners and forget about you guys. No, they're here. Hey, look, I've never run more than a full marathon. I aspire to be able to do something like that in the future. I think that's great. I can look up to those people. And they may look up to me in terms of, hey, I've never done an Ironman. I'm scared to swim. I'm scared. They might look at it like that, which is cool. But the thing is, no one takes that high. No one kind of looks down on anybody else. We're all here to support one another. And that's what's great about the community. And that's what's great about this race. It's what the race is all about, is just supporting one another, no matter what your goals are. I mean, if it's an ordinary marathon and there's an ultra runner here, you're going to probably, if they take 10 days to run 26.2 miles, you're probably taking away from their training program, right? So I'm just saying, we're going to have fun. It doesn't matter your skill level. It doesn't matter how far you run. Participate. Get out there, walk, run, snap a photo of yourself, put it on either Twitter or on Facebook, drop it in our Facebook discussion group. We have our Ordinary Marathon page. You could drop it there, use the hashtag Ordinary Marathon. And then we put together all those pictures. We try to grab as many of those pictures as we can, and we put it into our race video after, which I think is a really cool thing. And when I think about it, especially this year, when your races, if you guys are runners and you race outside and all your races have been canceled, your 5Ks, 10Ks, that goal race that you had in the spring, the Boston Marathon or whatever they are now, that all these races getting canceled, pushed out or postponed to next year, whatever it may be. This is a race that's not going to get canceled, folks. This is a race that's happening. It's a race you can participate in. Use the coupon code ORDINARY. It's $25. You get 10 days of running, 10 days of participation, 10 days of being supported, and also supporting one another. Then you get a chance to win every single day. We do a giveaway. Awesome prizes too. I think the prizes every year after year, the prizes get better and better, more and more legit. We have books by Brian Burke, author Brian Burke, who's also an ultra runner. We have customized Ordinary Marathon water bottles and tumblers that June Walker has made for us, Grandma Junie, and her potty mouth. That's her company's name. We have we have race shirts and Team Ordinary stuff. We have what else do we have? We have a Athena Fitness collection, formerly Greasy Girl headbands. She always donates to us. Definitely getting I was going to say Greasy Girl shirt, but Athena Fitness shirt. Queen Bean Coffee is donating a coffee gift basket. That's one of our most cherished gifts every single year. Whoever wins that is like, they're like, wow, Queen Bean Coffee. They get their socks knocked off every single year. She does a great job for us, and it's just great to see. It's all for a great cause. The one thing that I love about the SamFund is I've donated to causes that are, huge charities. And these charities are great and they do wonderful things. But when you're talking to a huge charity and you're donating, I think last year we donated about $1,000. They're not going to be able to tell you where that $1,000 goes to. It goes to a giant, conglomerate account and then goes all over the place and, you don't know. Well, this year, after talking to Samantha Watson yesterday, I've learned that they're having a tough time this year, and I'm going to tell you why. Being a grant-based charity, there's two sides of this, right? They have to raise money, raise donations, and in order to do that, their main way they raise donations is fundraisers, be that parties, golf outings, all these events that they do. Well, guess what? No events in 2020. Not allowed to get close to each other. What kind of events can they do? Virtual race. So they're actually depending on us a little bit more this year than in prior years, because their other sources of income are drying up. And it's tough. It's just tougher for them to raise money because they can't do those parties. They can't do those fundraisers, can't do the golf events. So they're looking to people like us to kind of hopefully fill some of the void. Now, on the other end, the second part of this is that being a grant-based charity, there are people that need help on the other end, right? There are the benefactors, the beneficiaries of the grants, and they're given on a need-based, notification, need-based priority, right? Well, some of the people who are receiving the grants are like, man, I've gotten laid off, or how am I supposed to go to the hospital, and deal with your treatment while all the COVID stuff is going on? And it presents even greater challenges, and they have more and more people kind of in need. So they've developed their COVID fund, and that's where our money is going to go to this year, because that's where it's needed the most. And that's, being the challenges that they're facing this year, they need all the help they can get. So it's nice to know exactly where the money's going to, that we raise, that the money, all the efforts that we put forth. Man, it's really nice to be in touch with the charity. I mean, I talk to the CEO, and as much as I love some of the other charities I've dealt with, I never talk to the CEO. I never get to talk to the people in charge. And when I call and I ask for help, they kind of give me a nod. Yeah, well, I'll give you help. And they kind of do a little bit here and there, but they never really help. I get a meeting today at 2:00 with the SamFund, and they're going to give us some more help, which is good because we have a lot of, this race, the last few days, I've just seen the buzz is building. The buzz is building, and a lot of people are getting involved. And I love when I get the updated race roster and I see names that I don't know, people that I don't know. It just, it hits me because it's like, man, people believe in this, and people are participating out of the kindness of their own heart and desire to actually participate in something that we're doing. So, it's really touching, and I love it. I love it. And so look, here's the medal that you guys are going to get, by the way. I showed this the last couple podcasts, but it's legit, man. This is, this isn't a piece of plastic. This is a good deal. And for those of you guys who run races during the year and you cross that finish line, they give you your medal, and you got that medal rack, and you can go through that medal rack and pick out all those medals and say, man, I remember that race day. I remember that race day. This is going to be one of those, because this is your 2020 medal. This is the one that you went out there and you didn't have you had a race on the schedule and you didn't get that done. You didn't cross that finish line. You didn't get that medal that you signed up for, that you didn't get to enjoy that day with everybody else. Well, here's 10 days that you're going to enjoy, and you're going to look at this and in the years to come, and you're going to say, man, in the face of adversity, in the face of that crazy 2020 year, that year that we don't talk about anymore, I did that, and I helped people. And it's a good deal. It's a good, it's a good thing to know. I don't know. I'm very proud of this race, if you can't tell. So the other thing that we've done, I talk about goals for the race, and we talked about in episode 328. And the only reason I know it now is because I've had to send it to some people. We talked about the importance of testing when training, the importance of testing yourself early on, and then getting into your training, and then testing yourself again at a certain point later on, so that you can kind of see how much your training has helped you. Is your training working? Is it doing the things that you wanted it to do, that you expected it to do? Are you getting faster? Are you getting, can you run further? Whatever your test may be. And I kind of put it out there, and I know a bunch of you guys actually went out there and started testing. I saw Katie Mayo do a test. I saw Debbie Early. I think Jen Bergstrom did a test. Ronald Booz did a test. There are more names. I wasn't prepared. I didn't write everyone down. But I think Nick Doe did a test. Awesome, guys. Awesome. It's so good to see, because I kind of just threw that out there. I was doing the test, so I figured, hey, let's see if anyone else wants to do a test. You guys went out there and did it. Now let's put the work in, right? Let's put the work in. Let's include the work in those 10 days, whether you're out cycling, you're out running, you're out swimming, you're out doing whatever it is you do. Let's put the work in, and let's circle back up in a month, and we'll see, it's less than a month now, and we'll see how good we did. That is a good measure of improvement. That is a good measure. And hopefully we all improve. And I'm looking forward to it, because I hated my mile test. It was absolutely awful. One last thing that we're doing this week on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, our first Zoom meeting. We're doing a Zoom coaches panel. We're calling it a happy hour slash coaches panel. We have 3 guests with us. I'll be moderating. But I'll be there to answer questions if anyone wants to ask me any. We have 2 triathlon coaches, Laura Stebbins, Coach Patrick Carey. Patrick was on the program recently as a guest, and Laura has been on tons of times in the past. She hasn't been on in a while, though. We got to get her back here. Very excited to have them on. I got to tell you, I've got a couple people reach out and say, hey, I don't know that I really want to pay. I don't know that I'm going to participate because they're triathlon coaches and I'm just really a runner. Well, look, I'm telling you, I have clients that are just runners. They have clients that are just runners. We understand that. I think most triathlon coaches, they use that umbrella of triathlon, but they can all coach those individual, you can coach running, you can coach swimming, you can coach cycling. You get that whole umbrella. And sure that some people have more specialties than others. I may not be the world's best swim coach, but I know a lot about it, but I may not, that may be where in terms of my knowledge base, that might be my weaker sport. But under that basis running, I know a lot about running. I've experienced a lot through running over the last 6-7 years, and I put that experience to work within that framework. And, just because it says triathlon coach doesn't necessarily mean we're not running coaches also. So I'm looking forward. So in other words, don't be shy. And hey, even if you just want to be involved and you don't want to join and ask questions, just join for the happy hour. I mean, we all kind of need a little socialization here these days, The meeting does, it maxes out at 100 people. I don't know that we're necessarily going to be testing that, but, we'll see. There's a way on our Facebook page. If you join our Facebook discussion group, Ordinary Marathoners, plural, add yourself to the group and I'll put you through. I got to approve you, but we approve pretty much everybody. You get through and then you see the post. There's a post that we did yesterday that has a link to a Google Doc. If you really want your questions. Oh, sorry. I didn't even mention our third guest. Our third panelist is our team dietitian, Allison Knott. Sorry, Allison. But a lot, I think she's going to be popular. A lot of people have nutrition questions when it comes to training, when it comes to event day, how to fuel yourself and all that stuff, how to lose weight, all those kinds of questions. We've had Allison on the podcast as well. So we're collecting questions through that Google Docs, but you will be able to get an opportunity to ask questions live. Hopefully we'll be able to kind of just hang out and enjoy it and enjoy the happy hour. I think Steph and I might be making some margaritas. We'll see. But, I look forward to this and I hope that it's something that we can enjoy and have fun with and maybe continue doing more events like this in the future. I think it's going to be a really good, laid back. It's going to be a laid back atmosphere. But, ask these coaches anything and they got great personalities on top. So it's going to be a fun time and we're just all going to enjoy ourselves and have a good night. Anyone's invited. Like I said, it caps out, I think at 100 people is our Zoom. That's like our Zoom limit. So, I mean, could we hit 100? Maybe. I don't know. I very much doubt that, but we might, who knows? We got some popular people out there. So join us and, enjoy the evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. All the information's on our Facebook page. Excuse me. We look forward to doing this and we look forward to seeing if this is a productive thing. And if so, we will keep doing it, here and there going forward. I think it's just a really good way to kind of get everyone together, see where you guys are at, have you guys ask questions, get your questions answered if you have them, or just come hang out and listen to the advice being given. We will probably video record it. If it works, we may upload it to our YouTube channel. We'll see about that. I don't know. I'm kind of like cautiously optimistic with that, but we'll see how it goes. And that's it. Hopefully, look, I'm giving you 2 assignments. One is go to ordinarymarathon.com, sign up for the race, use the coupon code ordinary for $5 off. Guys, $25. $25. It's a no-brainer. You help charity, a great charity that we know and we can anecdotally tell you where the money is going. And you can be confident that it's going to a great cause, and it is. And man, the fun that we're going to have is going to be great. It's $25. Will you go and pay $25 for a 5K that gets canceled, and then you may or may not get your money back? Come join us. We're going to have a good time. And then part B is just join us on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on our Zoom meeting, our coaches panel and happy hour. We'd love to see you there. And remember, guys, this was a fun one. I had fun on today's podcast. Every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.